You were told that masculinity is toxic, that your instincts are dangerous, that the only way to be good is to be harmless. But Nietzsche saw the truth. Modern men aren't evil. They're sick, poisoned by a world that fears what they could become. Look around you. Depression is everywhere. Apathy. Men who can't lead, can't love, can't even suffer with meaning. This isn't natural. It's engineered. And by the end of this, you'll see the trap. And more importantly, you'll see how to break free. Because there is a sickness in modern masculinity. Not the loud, violent kind, but something quieter, a slow rot. Picture a man sitting in his apartment, scrolling, consuming, distracting himself with endless entertainment. He has no enemies, no battles, no purpose grand enough to destroy him, just this dull ache inside, a sense that something is wrong, that he is less than he should be. And here's the part no one wants to admit. This isn't an accident. Nietzsche warned us, the surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. And isn't that exactly what modern masculinity has become? A hollowed-out version of what it once was, repackaged as safe, agreeable, convenient. Men are trained to seek validation, not victory, to be liked, not respected, to apologize for their ambition, their aggression, even their biology. But here's the brutal irony. The world still demands strength. It just refuses to teach it.
Think about it. Women still crave men who stand unshaken. Employers still reward those who dominate. History still remembers those who dared. And yet, men are fed a diet of mediocrity. Be vulnerable, be soft, settle. And when they do, they're met with indifference, or worse, contempt. This is the poisoned well. You drink from it every day. The lies taste sweet at first. You're enough as you are. But the aftertaste is bitter, because deep down, you know the truth. Men are not meant to be safe. They're meant to be dangerous. Not cruel, not reckless, but capable of force, of fury, of greatness. And the proof is in your suffering. That gnawing emptiness you feel, it's not depression, it's starvation. Your soul was built for storms, and you've been caged in calm. But here's the good news. You can break out. Because now we expose the lie, the real reason masculinity is broken, and why it isn't your fault. See, there was a time when masculinity was feared, not because it was cruel, but because it was unbreakable. Men who could endure, men who could stare into the abyss and not blink. But something changed. The dangerous man didn't disappear. He was disarmed.
He's been conditioned to believe that restraint is virtue, when in truth, it's castration. Because here's the truth. A man who cannot say no, who cannot impose his will when necessary, is not a good man. He is simply a harmless man. And there is a difference. But here's the trap. The world still runs on power. Women may claim they want sensitivity, yet they lust for men who command the room. Bosses may preach collaboration, yet they promote the ones who take what they want. Society may scold aggression, yet it rewards those who refuse to lose. The message is clear. Be strong, but never show it. And so men are left in purgatory, too bold to fit in, too tame to dominate. This is the great contradiction of modern masculinity. You were told to suppress your nature, but nature doesn't care about your morals. The laws of power remain. The strong take, the weak adapt, and the men caught in between, they suffer. But the worst lie of all, that this was progress, that the neutering of men was some great evolution, when really it was control. Because a strong man is hard to manipulate. A hungry man is hard to tame. But a man who believes his weakness is virtue, he'll kneel willingly. And here lies the heart of the sickness. Modern masculinity is a suicide pact. It asks men to abandon what made them formidable, not because it was wrong, but because it was inconvenient. And yet, you feel it, don't you? That quiet rage, that sense of betrayal. Good. That's your soul fighting back. This is where most voices stop. They name the problem, stir the outrage, and leave it there. But if you've felt that spark of anger rising inside you, that's only the beginning. Because the weak man curses the world for his suffering. The strong man uses it as fuel. And now you stand at the crossroads. Will you rot in resentment, or will you rise? Nietzsche's answer was clear. You must become who you are. Not the sanitized version of masculinity you were sold. Not the angry caricature of the past. But something more. Something dangerous, disciplined, and alive. This is the rebirth. The first step is the hardest. Stop asking for permission. Modern men have been conditioned to seek approval from women, from society, from the hollow voices of the internet. But here's the truth. No one will grant you power. No one will allow you to be strong. Strength is not given, it's taken. Not through violence, but through unshakable certainty. The moment you stop negotiating for your right to exist, the moment you stop apologizing for your ambition, the game changes. You're no longer a beggar at the feast, you become the host.
Next, embrace hardness. Not cruelty, hardness. The ability to endure, to resist comfort, to stare into the void and laugh. Modernity has made men soft, not through pleasure, but through distraction, endless scrolling, cheap dopamine, the illusion of connection without sacrifice. Break the cycle. Suffer voluntarily. Lift the weight, face the silence, let your mind sharpen like a blade. A man who can withstand pain, physical, emotional, intellectual, is a man who cannot be controlled. But hardness alone is not enough. You must also cultivate mastery. Because the modern world rewards competence, but it worships genius. Find your battlefield, whether it's art, money, power, or philosophy, and conquer it. Not for applause, not for validation, but because you must. Nietzsche called this the will to power, not domination over others, but the relentless drive to surpass yourself. A man without a craft is a man without a soul. Finally, reclaim your darkness. The shadow is not your enemy, it is your weapon. Every great man has a side he does not show, a fury he keeps leashed. The modern world calls this toxic. It is not. It is necessary. The ability to destroy, to say no, to walk away. This is what makes your kindness meaningful. A lion does not apologize for its fangs. Neither should you. This is the path of the barbarian philosopher, the man who thinks like a scholar but fights like a beast. He does not hate modernity, he transcends it. He is ruthless with himself, generous with those he loves, and indifferent to all else. He knows the world is not fair. He simply does not care.
But there is one final truth, one last challenge. The ultimate test every man must face if he wants to be truly free. There comes a moment when the illusions shatter. The borrowed philosophies, the half-lived truths, the compromises you made to fit in. One day, all of it collapses. And there, standing in the rubble, you face the question that will define you. Can you bear your freedom? This is the final test. Nietzsche called it the eternal recurrence. Imagine this: every choice, every triumph, every mistake of your life, repeating infinitely, again and again, forever. Would you tremble at the thought? Or would you roar yes with the ferocity of a god? Most men cannot. They've built their lives on lies so fragile that the mere thought of eternity crushes them. They chose comfort over meaning, safety over greatness, and the weight of that choice is unbearable. But you have walked the path of the barbarian philosopher. You have learned to see the world as it is, merciless, magnificent, demanding everything. And now comes the ultimate question. What will you do with it? The answer isn't found in grand gestures or empty conquests. It's not about shouting the loudest or fighting the biggest battle. The answer is found in the small daily refusals to kneel. It's in waking before dawn when the bed is warm. It's in speaking the truth when lies would be easier. It's in loving deeply without demanding it be soft. It's in standing alone, unsheltered, uncelebrated, and still burning with purpose. This is the price of freedom. Not a single payment, but a lifetime of defiance against the pull of weakness. Most men will fail. They will cling to their chains. They will whisper, "Tomorrow, tomorrow," until their souls wither. But you've already seen the poison in the well. You've felt the hunger of a caged wolf. And now you know the secret.
A man's worth is not measured by his potential, not by his good intentions, not by what he dreams he could be. It's measured by what he can endure. Because the world does not care about your suffering. It cares about what you build from it. So build. Let them call you ruthless. Let them sneer at your discipline. Let them mock your ambition and pity your solitude. They are the ones who will beg for scraps at the table of real men. You will feast on the life you earned, not because you were lucky, not because you were chosen, but because you took it. This is Nietzsche's gift. Not hope, not comfort, fire. The recognition that you were never broken, you were only sleeping. And now, you are awake. From here, the rest is yours to claim. But understand this, the path is not easy. It was never meant to be. Every day, you will face the temptation to fall back into comfort, to trade meaning for ease, to settle. The world will hand you excuses. It will whisper, "Relax. Tomorrow, you've done enough." And this is where most men break, not in crisis, but in comfort. They wither slowly, quietly, until there is nothing left. But you must resist. Freedom is not a gift, it's a weight. It will crush you if you are not strong enough to carry it. And that's why the work never ends. Rise early, move your body, test your limits, refuse to numb yourself with endless distractions. Build your craft until it becomes your signature in the world. Face rejection, not once, but 1,000 times, and still refuse to kneel. Choose suffering when it would be easier to hide. because every moment you endure what others run from, you are carving yourself into someone who cannot be controlled. And this is what the modern world fears most. Not the angry man, not the violent man, but the free man. The man who knows his worth because he has tested it. The man who has suffered and still stands. The man who can walk into the storm and smile. That man is dangerous, not because he seeks to destroy, but because he cannot be destroyed. That is the kind of man you were meant to be. And here's the truth, it is within reach. Every step you take away from comfort, every moment you refuse weakness, every battle you fight in silence, that is the making of you. The barbarian philosopher, the scholar who fights like a beast, the man who carries his own weight, who stands indifferent to the noise, who gives love with strength and not apology. He knows life is not fair. He knows it is cruel, but he also knows it is magnificent, and in that knowledge, he finds freedom.
So ask yourself the question again. Can you bear your freedom? Because freedom is not about doing whatever you want. It's about shouldering the burden of becoming who you are, fully, fiercely, without excuse. And if you can do that, then nothing else matters. You will not need permission. You will not need validation. You will not need to be understood. You will simply be strong, hard, masterful, dangerous, alive. So let the world scold. Let them call it toxic. Let them shrink in fear. It does not matter, because you are no longer kneeling. You are awake. And now, the rest is yours to take.